so proudly we hailed, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the path.
Good evening, everybody. Gary right here on the Freedom Network with you. Glad that you decided to join us. We have all kinds of stuff to do tonight. timorgary@gmail.com. Get you right into the emails. 266-0990 on the 508 area code. Get you right on the telephone. Now, tonight, we got all kinds of politics going on. I mean, this is just nonstop. These shows write themselves. I could plan them in 10 minutes. I could just come in and go on the web and just start reading stories. Anyway, we do have some breaking news tonight on the Freedom Network, folks. We're going to be talking with Alan Waters in a few minutes. You've seen him here before. He's been on the program a couple of times. We'll probably, hopefully, have him on a couple more times in studio. Today, he's going to have to be on the telephone, but he's got lots and lots of news, and I wanted to give you a little background and set that up for you. And just have a little general talk, and then we'll try to get Alan on as quick as we can. Alan, if you're out there already, I know you're busy running around, but if you're out there, you're welcome to call in anytime, as we're going to be talking about you for a few minutes here. So I've been pretty vocal in supporting Alan for his bid for the Senate seat that is held by Elizabeth Warren. You know my feelings on Elizabeth Warren. I think she's just... There's really no common ground. There's got to be some, I guess, common ground between us, but I certainly can't find any. Anyway, Alan was an early Republican in the race. He had gone around to some Republican town committees and whatnot. I'm not too sure that he was ever able to come here to Northbridge. I know he wanted to, but I don't know if that was able to happen yet. And I don't think it will happen now, but maybe it will still happen now. I'm going to ask Alan about that. But he had a great message, and he has a great message, and it seemed to be the fresh blood that I like to look for in a candidate. So a long story short, others are poking around in the race, and the party seems to be welcoming him at the local level, but let's just be honest, in all reality, what the party is going to do is they're going to go with the incumbent out of East Bridgewater, Whitman, and the Abington areas. Now, Jeff is a good guy, all right? He's a good guy. He's from what I know of him, which is not a whole lot except just doing some research, but he's had some results. He's got some things done. But honestly, I'm looking at an article now. I'm just overseeing people make careers out of politics. And by sending him from the state level to the federal is just that. That's what it is to me. Now, if it comes down to it, I'm going to vote against Elizabeth Warren. Probably I can't envision myself ever voting for her. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. And to me, that's just what it's going to do. I don't think that we win that game as a country by just creating more and more career politicians. So to me, that's what Jeff seems to be on a path to. And I'm sure he's great, and he's done a great job, but I think if he's done a great job, he should serve a few terms doing what he's doing, and then I think he needs to go. We've made a career out of politics, so it's almost like you have to be in it to know what to do and how to be in it, and that's not how it was intended in the United States of America whatsoever. The Founding Fathers never really envisioned it, but they did see it. Don't forget, they did see it even with themselves, because even though, as Ben Franklin was talking about the dangers of people staying in government for their entire career, he was doing the exact same thing. So while they saw it, it kind of sucks you in, and it's like a siphon. So that's why I always have supported term limits. And I support term limits, state representation, and beyond. The local stuff, I think the towns, they want to have the same selectman for 20 years. I don't really have a problem with that. It's a lot easier to move from one town to the other if you don't like what's going on. But to be quite honest with you, once you get elected into you're going into the state house, or if you're going in down to Washington, you get a couple terms and you're done. You need to go back to work in this capitalist economy that we all call America. Not sit in the government where you just become part of the government class. And we have an active and live and very powerful government class in this country right now. And if you don't see it, it's because you're not looking at it. You're not looking for it. So anyway, I don't know if he was in government locally, but we are looking at another budding career politician over there on the Republican side. So that's no go land for me. And anyway, let's just go right back to Mr. Allen. So Alan Waters, I'm talking with him and he's telling me that he's going to make a bold move. I said, what is this bold move? Well, we're going to hear from him hopefully in a few minutes. But he has decided that he is changing parties. He has made a bold move. He is taking Warren on in the primary as a Democrat. Yes. Which is, to me, a bold move. One that could easily backfire, I'm going to be honest with you. And I was completely personally against this move. I'm saying, man, you can beat these other people on the other side. But he explained his reasons, and I'm listening because Alan's got that way about him. You got to give him a listen, see what he's all about. So let's talk about a blue dog Democrat. You ever hear that term before? Well, a blue dog Democrat is basically a conservative Democrat. Easy. I get it. I know what you're saying, but listen to me. They do exist. I almost just fell off the chair. Wouldn't that have been funny? To some of you, probably more than others. This is a Democrat that is a more conservative Democrat. We've had some in Massachusetts. You can probably think of a few, not a lot, but they do exist. They're a rare breed. I did some looking. They usually are described as Southern Democrats with conservative political values. So I want to bring in Alan. I want to let him talk about this, and I'll leave the show open. Anytime you want to come in, Alan, or call in, just do so. You got the number, and we'll definitely give you time to talk about this and explain it because I want everyone to try to understand why you're doing this. And I think you've got some good reasons, and I'd like them to hear it from you. But this message is getting out there. It's all over Facebook now. And we wanted to talk about it here tonight with you and with Alan. So we'll get him. We'll get him in another few minutes. I know he's a busy guy. He is a busy guy. In the interim, I want to tell you something else. You know who's here tonight? Yeah. The rumor is true. Jim Barnacle is in the house. He is. He's within these four walls now of the studio. So we're going to bring Jim in, and we're going to have a little politicking between us, which is always interesting because for two people that on the surface agree on almost everything, agree on very little when we dig in, I think, and that makes for good debate and good television. So we'll try to find some things that we might disagree on and talk about, or maybe get some different views on it. And we'll bring Jim in at any time as well. But let's while we wait for Jim and while we wait for Alan, let's talk about the big news of the day, right? Aside from Alan, because Alan's going to he'll make some kind of, he will get more publicity now because she would never have a challenge. I want to know what the local town committees think about this. And as Alan is contacting them, I wonder how they're reacting to it. But Comey's fired. He's director of the FBI. He's gone, right? Well, that's long overdue, folks. I mean, come on. I mean, Obama should have fired him the day he said he would not enforce the law, right? He blatantly said that if you do what she did, she being Hillary Clinton, if you do what she did, you will be charged. He said it. It's all over YouTube. You can find it. I have played it on this show before. We probably even have it in the file, but we don't have to go look for it. That's all right. But we can. But he blatantly said that. He said that. It's a double standard. It supports the government class that we were just talking about. So do I support Trump saying you're fired to him? Yeah, I do, 110%. The guy should have been gone right when he decided to selectively enforce the law, right when he decided that the government class person will not be charged, and if you do the same thing, you will be charged. Well, that's not cool in any way, shape, or form. The laws need to apply to everybody equally. They can't be just passed over because the person is in, favorable stature in the government class, which shouldn't even exist in the first place. So My big issue, though, is why didn't Trump do it on day one? Why didn't he do it on day one? I don't get it. Why the wait? Why all the you know what? Now, I know that I said something that I don't agree with, or something fishy about something Trump, and I know that the emails, there's one coming in now. I know that the emails will come in, and they will tell me that I should, they'll make excuses, they'll tell me reasons and all this stuff. Folks, listen to me. At the end of the day, I I just smile, all right? Just smile. Because to me, the Trump supporter that can never see anything wrong with Trump is no different than the Obama supporter that couldn't see anything wrong with Obama, or the Hillary supporter that couldn't see anything wrong with Hillary, and you get my go. That's just a party, or if it doesn't become a party, it becomes a person. You have so much faith in him, you love him, you just think he's the guy and he's going to fix it, and you believe it, and you'll defend him at any cost. Why? Why would you defend anybody in the government? If you see something you don't like, say something. That's the point of America. You don't have to follow anybody lockstep. You just don't. So people are talking about Gowdy for this spot. Now, that would be the best move I think that Trump could make, period. Number one, probably choice for me would be him. He needs more than a voice. And I'm talking about a guy like Gowdy. He needs to be able to act. He needs to be able to put into action, not just stand on the floor. We need some constitutionalists in this group, okay? I mean, come on. At what point do we get a constitutionalist into the government? And why is that considered in any way, shape, or form radical? The Constitution is what governs the government. Governs the government. It's a document that is set up to limit the government. It's not a playbook for you, it's for them. It's how the government needs to be structured and set up. And when people talk about that and they say, oh man, this guy's way out there in right field, he's talking about the Constitution. That's how you know you've lost America. When someone comes out and starts talking about the Constitution and wants to apply it regardless of party, then you got to really go look in the mirror and say to yourself, is this the place for me? It's a great big world. Now, I hate to be a love it or leave it kind of guy, but when it comes to a position in time, like people hate Trump, they're going to leave. That's stupid, right? People don't like, they hate Obama, they're going to leave. That's all stupid. This is your country. You should never leave it based on that. But if the fundamental design of the country is not going to jive with your view of how a government should work, I'm not the radical. You are. Because you're in this country that's governed by that little thin document. So I think that this would be something that Trump should do. I don't have a lot of faith that he will. He didn't charge Hillary. He said he would. And he should have fired this guy right off the bat, because this guy is just, he's just, bad timing. Is there more there? I don't know if there's more there. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I do think it should be looked into. I don't see how you just don't look into it. I think that you do look into it. I think that you look into it, you prove it out, you move on. And if there is wrongdoing, then you deal with it. You deal with it by what the law says. You follow that Constitution. Just follow it. It'll lead you to where you're intended to be, which is free. Freedom doesn't mean, okay, and this is what gets me. Now I'll go off on a tangent. This is what gets me. People truly believe that they're entitled to so much that they are not entitled to. Now, we have young people in the studio here today, right? Everybody wishes that college was free. I get it, right? I wish everything was free, but it can't be. It can't be, and the reason it can't be is because you can't sustain this type of a government, this type of a country, this vast and this big. And I'll show you why, and I'll tell you why. The reason is because people will look at Canada, or they'll look at, pick a Nordic country, and they'll say, well, they have all these socialist things, and look at how well they do. And, the reality is that they would not exist as they do today if you, or if you're younger, your parents, weren't paying their taxes, supporting a huge military, that basically polices the world. So do you really think that Canada has to spend a lot in defense? Why don't you Google what these countries spend on defense? Google what we spend on defense. We could spend a lot less if we'd stop fighting every war that we want to come in contact with. But when you really look at the end of the day, the reality in the room, okay, is very simple. It's very, very, very simple, folks. And what we need to do is we need to help people to understand that if you want all this stuff for free, which we're not designed really to do as a government, but there are arguments that can be made. If you want to do this, there's only one way to do it. Okay? And that way is to stop giving everybody else the protection that we're giving them. Because no one's going to attack Canada. No one's going to attack Mexico. Okay? No one's going to attack these socialist type of countries. They're just not going to do it. There may be skirmishes and things of that nature. Is that Alan? There may be skirmishes and things of that nature, but to be quite honest with you, you can't compare a country of 300 plus million people with a country of a few million or a country of as many that we protect. You pay for their protection. That's where your college money is. Let me jump on the phone here. Let's go like this and like this. And do I have Alan on the phone with me now? I do, but I'm not for some reason on speaker, huh? There you go, Alan. Are you there?
I'm here.
Ah, that's where we go. Alan, welcome to the Freedom Network, my friend.
Thank you, Gary. It's always good to be on your show.
Why, I thank you for being here, man. We got big news about you, huh?
Yeah, we have some big news.
All right,
We're moving and grooving.
We've been talking about it a little bit, but I wanted to let you explain to people why you did or what you did and what the philosophy is. I just want to give you a little time to tell it out.
Great. I can't wait. I've been telling the story many times, and I think I'm slowly getting people convinced that it's a good strategy move. Strategy doesn't mean you're going to win, but strategy is a strategy.
This is true. This is true. I mean, so you were a Republican. Now you're a Democrat.
Yes, I was.
And now you're a Democrat.
Yes, I am. But I wasn't a Democrat before I was a Republican. I was an independent. I was just unenrolled. That's the way I had been for a while. I hadn't belonged to any party. I joined the Republican Party without an invitation. No one said, hey, we got a big tent. Come on in, you black conservative you. I just decided to join and step up. That's what I've been doing.
Gotcha. So you join the party and you get in the race. And what makes you decide to bolt from the party?
Well, first of all, I joined the party in 2013. I ran for state senate, Cape and Islands District, lost in the primary. I was running for Congress for a bit, but I stepped aside not to be a spoiler for Mark Allegro, who was one of the more conservative Republicans. He ran in 2014 and decided he was going to run in 2016. So sometimes you take one for the team. I did the right thing. So it's not as if I haven't been running. I'm also a library board of trustees for Mashpee, but that's non-party related.
Gotcha. So your move is to, what do you hope to gain? What is the benefit of doing this?
Easy. Beat Elizabeth Warren. That's always the first and number one goal. So I have been working hard. I was the hardest working Republican in the state of Massachusetts. I entered this race and said, you know what? I don't need a test. I've been running since late December. I was putting together a little team, some people that were working for me part-time because that's the only money I had to afford. And for the last 4 months, January, February, March, April, I've been on the road from Mashpee down in the Cape, Pittsfield, I think 3 times already, and North Shore, etc. So I'm not afraid of driving, and they love it out west, and they really accepted me knowing that my goal is to take care of them. So back to the point, what am I doing? Well, first of all, some other Republicans have decided to enter the race. We have Sheba, the gentleman, Indian American, born in India, has been here since 8 years old. MIT high-tech guy, a lot of PhDs. January, February, he said he wanted to get in the race. Best of my knowledge, he's never held a public office of any sort or ran for one. Representative Jeff Deal. And Jeff has been doing it by the numbers, just kind of testing to see if he can get the support, raise the money. Right now, he's this quarter, Q2, he's in what they call the mode where he's just kind of still testing it out. He hasn't said he's full in.
I don't understand that. I don't get that, Alan. I just don't get that. I don't want to vote for somebody, to be honest with you, that wants to test the waters. I want to vote for someone who's going to jump in, do their best, and we'll let the chips fall where they may. But it sounds to me like he wants to hang on to the job he's got, and he wants some kind of guarantee. And if he's not in some certain position, so why would you get out of the race if you probably, as a declared candidate, were the only? I think you were one of the more viable candidates, seeing that he wasn't even in the race.
People love my message. I'm refreshing. I've been in places where the more conservative people in the party, who must have been open-minded, really grilled me. And by the end of the night, they shook my hand and said, "Good work," because I've got that message. I bring it. I have that power. And to me, this whole race gets to be personal because I'm tired of the 50 years of the liberal progressive failure on poverty, not just for blacks, but for everybody in the state of Massachusetts. And we got a lot of work to do. And currently, the people that are in federal office, I can't name them all because, they don't seem to come around. And Elizabeth Warren is definitely that case. So what is this all about? Basically, I'm a poor guy. I can't go 17 months from here to September of 2018. That's a long time when the big money will hold back because there's a primary. So all the PACs, all the money that starts to flow in when they start taking bets, I would say that Jeff Deal, one of the things he's done, not to complain about Jeff, but, what it is, he's taking the ear out the room because he's testing and he's waiting and, I need to start getting money now. So that's one. It gets down to the money.
Do you see money flowing from the Democrat Party your way?
The answer is yes, and I want to tell you why.
Okay.
Well, first of all, as of just anybody who's brazen enough, bold enough, has a message for Republicans and Democrats, that's me. If I can all of a sudden start to show with her, the money will start to come because she's a very polarizing figure. And really, she only appeals locally in Massachusetts. She only really appeals to the Elizabeth Warren section of the Republican Party. Is another term. I saw a bumper sticker. But when you really think about it, she might have this great national appeal. She's got that whole far-left progressive pink body part hat on, doing what they got to do. But when you really think about it, in Massachusetts, her polls are dropping. She's not bringing home the bacon for anybody. What can you say? What has Elizabeth Warren done other than raise money for Elizabeth Warren? You can't really stick on that. So how about this? I can stand on a stage, look to my left and look at Jeff Deal, look to my right at Shiva. We still have some billionaires who could self-fund that haven't really revealed what they're going to do. If they come in, they'll be the monster in the room. And, I don't know what Shiva has, but that could really crush. In that 17 months, Elizabeth Warren gets a free ride. She gets to continue to do her Elizabeth Warren thing. Listen, I just manned up. I might have made some people angry, but I'd rather go after Elizabeth Warren. And you know what? Perversely, for all those, Republicans that, party first versus people first.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of Democrats that would probably be happy that somebody went in and challenged her because the Democrats are factionalized just like the Republicans. You got the Bernie wing, you got the Warren wing, you got the moderates, and then you got the people that said no more and stepped out the party just like Republicans have done.
Well,
with the Republican Party.
No, I mean, that's true.
That's sweet little. It's a strategy, but you know what? I'd rather go don't do that, then be broke. Trying to hold on, waiting for, what's going to happen with deal and whatever.
So you're a Democrat. So you're a Democrat running and looking for, and there was a time not that long ago in this state where it was so overwhelmingly Democrat, not unenrolled voters like we see now. And now unenrolled voters are the number one block in Massachusetts. There's more unenrolled than there are, I think, registered in either party, if I'm not mistaken. So you're you're the Democrat that's going after the old Democrats, the old family, tree of Democrats that's just disgruntled with the party. They don't like Warren. I mean, how do you take anybody serious, first of all, that says that there should be free college and then charges, what, $300,000-$400,000 to teach one class at Harvard? I mean,
that is some sweet liberal payola, no doubt about that. When you know that adjuncts only make $3,000 or $4,000 a course.
Right.
That's maybe in a big school, not at the junior college. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I want you to tell the people right now, because I think you know. But how have I branded myself?
Oh, I think that your branding has been good. I mean, I think that you're conservative where you need to be. You're into the Constitution. You're into term limits. You're definitely fiscally conservative. I know that you have a real passion for those that are less fortunate as well. And I think you speak very eloquently and very well about trying to help them. And I think that you're very good about being upfront and being able to say that all of these progressive ideas and all these things that she's going to say I've done, none of them have really helped. Maybe they've helped an individual that she's going to be able to point to in a town hall meeting if she has to, but they haven't helped raise the people in mass that are just not doing as well as some other people. And okay, if that's your number one goal, and that's what she says her number one goal is, she gets a complete F. And I think that's a big part of your message, which I think is a good message, Alan.
That's right. And so my message hasn't changed. But even more than that, as a Democrat, I've labeled myself as a blue dog Democrat. Anybody who knows politics knows that that's the conservative wing of the Democrat Party. And you know what? There's not many left of them because they've been chased out or gave up, or maybe they became Republicans. But there's a Democrat, especially in the southern states. Now, we're talking about a U.S. House of Representative term. So I have to use it loosely because I'm being used a U.S. Senator. But I am Alan Blue Dog Waters, conservative Democrat for U.S. Senate 2018. And so anybody that wants to get a little funny about that, no, I'm saying right on my business card, conservative, Now,
Sure.
Most people find me because I am trying to make positive social change as a moderately conservative guy. Sure I am, because I want to make sure that our weakest link are our poorest people. We want to get them up. But I'm not here to give them handouts. We're trying to give a hand up. But at least I would be a conservative that even cares about those type of issues.
Sure.
And maybe wants to get some action.
All right. Alan, I want to really thank you for taking some time out. Folks, if you want to get in touch with Alan, you can certainly send me an email. But, Alan, what's your email, or what's the best way for people to get a hold of you or get your hold of your campaign?
I would say one would be you can send it to info at AlanRWaters.com. Info at
Perfect.
AlanR, my middle name is Rodney, Waters.com. That'll get to me. Then I'll respond to you with my regular email. You can go and send a message on my website, which is AlanRWaters.com. So there's a lot of ways to get a hold of me. I'm not shy. I will get back to you unless you're totally ridiculous and has nothing to do with...
Yeah, you don't have to reply to spam. We don't generate a lot of spam, though. And folks, if you didn't get the that information, you can certainly send over to timorgary@gmail.com. I can get you any info you want. Alan, let's get you in the studio maybe towards the end of the month or the beginning of June, and let's keep in contact and make sure that we know how it's going, okay?
Thanks, Gary. You take care.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much.
Bye.
There he goes. That's Alan, making bold moves, going where very few men have gone before. Well, I wanted to give him some time. I wanted to give him some time to explain this very unorthodox move. I understand what he's doing. I hope it doesn't backfire. I'd love to see this guy win. Sometimes you just meet someone and you just say, you know what? He's the everyman, right? He's as polished as you. He's as flawed as you, right? He's us. He's just a regular guy. You know what I mean? And I think that is so needed in politics today. All right. Now, in a few minutes, we'll bring in Jim Barnacle and see what he has to say about all these things. We'll just slide him in. My closing on Trump that I will give you, he's also allowed the Clinton Foundation to go uninvestigated. And I'm sorry, it just seems off to me now all of a sudden that he needs to fire Comey. It should have been done months ago. Let's back it up. Like I say, back up the happy wagon, because Democrats are completely insane as well on this issue, like you don't even know. We have people all over the place that are saying things from the left that Trump has removed Comey. But yet, this is very laughable, because I'm looking at quotes now from people like Schumer and others, stalwarts of the left, if you will, that months ago were saying things like he should be gone, he should be fired, I can't trust him, I don't have confidence in him. What happened? What changed? I'll tell you what changed. Party politics. That's what changed. Because when it's about the party, you must defend the party at all costs. I mean, maybe it's even worth your life, at least some blood. You'll bleed for the party. Such hypocrites. I don't understand who cannot see that. How do you not see it? Do you not remember what happened 10, 12, 15, 18, or 20 weeks ago? If you follow politics at all, how do you not remember these people from the left screaming that he's terrible, he's awful, he's blah 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 blah, and he's got to go? And now he's gone and you're upset. That's because anything Trump does, much like I said before, there are people that will follow a leader to hell, and there are people that will question. They will question. And you've got to be one of those people that question. You have to be. And you can't just say, I don't like Donald Trump, so anything he does is completely wrong. Because that's not true. That's not true. Everything he does isn't completely wrong. And you just, if there's ever one thing that if I could have my own wish politically, it would just be that people dumped all this party loyalty, because it's killing you. It's killing you. We have a lot of people in the house. Even Dylan's in the house. So put Gowdy up there. Take the leash off him, and let's drain the damn swamp. Let's just drain it. Let's just drain it. Then he'll get my attention. Let me see. What do I got? A couple of emails popping in. All right. Well, I'll tell you something. They're not too unhappy, really, about Alan. A couple of positive ones. So that's good. That's always good. Let's bring in Jim. Jim, slide in here. Right. Jim's been here the whole time waiting. Welcome back to the network.
Thanks, Gary. I was going through my closet today.
Yeah.
And I stumbled. I thought I had gotten rid of all of them.
What happened?
I found one of the yard signs. That I once stole. I can't remember what address it came from, but I'll look that up and bring that back.
Look that up and bring it right back, huh? That's great. That's fantastic. You may remember back in the override days, huh? Please.
We're beating that dog.
We beat it to death. I like to beat it, though. What are you going to do? All right, so we've been talking. What do you think about Alan?
I was wondering what part he was in prior to 2013, because it seems like he's doing a lot of jumping around.
He was an unenrolled voter.
He was unenrolled.
Yeah, he had no party affiliation, I guess. Then he went into the Republican Party, and now he has gone over to the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
You don't seem too happy about it.
Well, conservative and Democrat, do they really go hand in hand at all, Gary? I mean, I'm trying to feel it. I truly am. But those two words really just don't go hand in hand.
They don't, but they
how
do. Now,
that?
we've got emailers out there, right? I mean, we've got people out there. So you're going to have to go back a little bit, right? But what is there have been conservative Democrats that have donned our state legislature and things like that. They do get elected. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be tough. it's going to be tough. I can't say it's going to be an easy fight, but what I do like is that he wants to take her on, and he sees that there's a good bump in the road going through his party, and he's decided that the heck with the party. I don't care about the party. I want to go after her, and he's going.
Right.
And I think that's pretty cool. That I think takes a lot of.
Right, but I mean, he was at a disadvantage in the Republican Party and recognized that. Does he really feel that he's in a better spot in the Democrat Party?
See,
I mean, he's going to be more unliked in that party than the one he just left.
Yeah, I think that the thing is I don't know that he was unliked in the party. I think that the party structure. I disagree and don't really think that money will flow. Money ain't going to flow, and it ain't going to flow, in my opinion.
What gave it away? The pause and the yes.
Well, I think that where it'll flow from is people. It'll almost be that Bernie Sanders effect, if you will, because I think that a lot of the independents. I shouldn't say independents because they're not independents. They're unenrolled voters. There are some independents, but there is an independent party. So you want to make sure you get that straight. But I think that there are. It's the majority. The majority of people in Massachusetts now have no party affiliation.
Right.
And if that's the case, Elizabeth's base is the registered Democrat. I don't know how many independents,
Vote for her.
unenrolled, libertarians, and people of that nature are. I mean, an unenrolled Tea Party guy, he ain't voting for Elizabeth Warren, even though he's unenrolled. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm into seeing what happens, and I'd love to. What I really want to do is I want to see him go after her social failures, because her whole party has failed in the whole "let's help everybody" world.
Sure. Yeah.
Huge, epic failures, right? Because it still exists. It's like education. If you could fix education by putting money into it, America would have no education problem at all, because we spend so much money on education. It's just not all about. I just don't think it's all about money.
Aside from that, I don't know much about the guy, so I was trying to listen.
Nice
in.
guy. You'd love him. If you met him, you'd really like him. See, that's the thing about Alan Waters is you meet the guy and you just like him. He's one of those kind of people, not like you and me.
Right. I'm not liked, Gary.
Well, by me you are. You keep flashing that sign around. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
I'll keep that with me. Can that move into the city area then?
You could.
I did it upside down.
You could put it in that window.
How's that work? Oh, there we go. It's all
I
backwards.
I just think it's great that you have a good sense of humor about it,
I enjoyed it.
because that was disgusting. So I'm glad you can laugh about it now.
So what else you got? You got an email that we can talk about?
I got all kinds of stuff here. Big push on healthcare. What do you think?
I like healthcare. Sounds like a good thing.
Now, last
we all
time-
need some healthcare.
We all need some healthcare. So how do we pay for it? I guess, right? Have you read into the Republican plan at all?
No, I've been out of the loop a lot.
I
lately.
do know that the pre-existing condition situation is there's a lot of slanted news out there on that, because they're saying it won't cover it, but it really does. For I think I read in the copy of the bill, which I did not read the whole thing, but I searched for that in it, which is what's great about what is that, Excel? When you put
Yeah.
something into it,
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
search for keywords.
Yeah.
That's the best way to go through these bills. I think it said 63 days. But if you're uninsured for 63 days, which could happen, I mean, that could happen pretty easy. You lose your job.
Right.
You may not get another job with benefits in 63 days.
Right. And
So-
a lot of times when you get a job, it's like 90 days before you can get on whatever.
That you
plan's
can get on
anyway.
it. So I got to do a little more research on that. But you know my feeling. If it doesn't address the cost.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my math that I had last time, I painstakingly went through and did all kinds of math. I used Blue Cross Blue Shield. Remember?
Yeah.
Were you here?
Yeah, I would. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I was here for that.
80 million people subscribe to Blue Cross Blue Shield. If you do the math out to pay all those big, huge wages with what was it? They have salaries of $4 or $5 million bucks. They get a bonus of 12 million. But to pay it all and then to go to almost that next tier is about $25 a person. 25 bucks. So that's not the problem.
Because you took the 80 million subscribers and broke that.
And I
into-
broke it down. And then I even went further and I went to see about lobbying. And the old insurance industry lobbies plenty. I'm not trying to let them off the hook here, folks, not by any stretch. But the lobbying is insane. I can't remember the numbers. I wish I had saved them, but it was, double and triple between the medical industry, if you include pharmacy and hospitals and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, compared to all of the insurance companies. It was just an amazing difference. It was an absolutely amazing difference. I always prove it like this, Jim. This is how I prove my point. If people really think that these Obamacare or even this plan that the Republicans have hashed out that should have been on Trump's desk day one,
Yeah.
day one, that should have been on Trump's desk. How was it not?
Yeah.
How was
Right.
it not?
No,
They
oh,
had
yeah.
since the day the freaking bill was passed. They've been bellyaching
You
about
have
it.
some 7 years to come up with a better plan, and
Nothing.
nothing.
They
And
have to
it-
debate it now,
Right.
and they. I mean, please, the party's out of control.
Now that's why you're unenrolled now, right?
Yeah, I'm gone. I'm out of the party. I'm no more. I left when they told me I shouldn't be back.
That's the main reason, though, right? When
yeah.
when they
Yeah,
scrambled to put a plan together.
yeah. It was just not for me. I don't like being told what I can say, and not that they would want to control my content because I don't want to give that impression. Especially the town committee. The town committee, you got some good ones on there. You got some really good, dedicated people there. But in my opinion, if I want to put a Hillary sign in my yard, I'm putting a Hillary sign in my yard. I wouldn't do it. Maybe if I was target practice, maybe for me and Dylan. But
Well, you did paint a big N in your driveway.
that wasn't my end, buddy. I have a shared driveway. That was not my end. But they did ask, in all fairness, and what am I going to say? No,
Right.
I'm not going to stand in the way of someone expressing their opinion.
Right.
You know what I mean? Why not?
Sure.
Do what you want. I didn't vote for it. What are you going to do? But it's got to
But
be.
it's still there, by the way.
Well, it's going to take time. I said this. I said this will be good for 2 or 3 drives when I
Right.
saw it, right? Because it's just the color. It's the color is what it is. But it is what it is, as they say. Maybe I'll paint it for Gowdy if he ever runs.
Yeah. What's your love affair with Gotti?
I love
Is it
Gowdy.
constant-
Yeah, because you know
constitutional?
why I like him? Because he just talks about the Constitution. I love it. He gets into these debates with people like the recent one he had about the cell phone. They wanted to check people's cell phones coming from other countries.
Right.
And, he is a guy that's looking to find a balance between the freedom and the security that people seek. But I'm going to be honest with you, you can't have both. You can't be totally secure and totally free.
Right.
You can't be. You have to be willing to have some give and take there. So,
Didn't you think he'd do a good job of finding that line?
I think he'd be. What he needs is more than just a voice. He needs teeth. That's why I wanted him to put him as AG.
Well, hold on a second. I think you've wanted him to, ever since Trump became president. I think you've wanted him in every position.
Every position.
Available,
You pick
and,
a position.
And like create one. And
Or
never
Rand
mind
Paul.
vi-
I'll
never
take
mind-
him too.
Never mind vice president, like co-president.
Co-president. Actually, I was a Rand Paul voter, so
Right.
I mean that's me. I'm more of I do have more of that libertarian constitutionalist streak in me. Those kind of people excite me politically.
Right.
They do. They do. Don't get fresh, but they do. They really get into my head because that's what I believe. That's what I want to hear about.
Right.
I don't want to hear about what the government's going to do. I want to hear about how they're going to shrink it down and get it the hell out of my life and do their best to keep me safe. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, sounds like a pretty good plan.
Maybe I'll run. Alan, sorry, I'm coming in. No, I'm just kidding. But, I always say with the insurance thing, just ask your typical person that wants this type of a Obamacare or whatever the heck this new thing is called, and how much do you want to charge me? Because you're going to insure my family
Right.
starting tomorrow. Or blow it up. You insure 1 million families. How much are you going to charge? You're going to charge a pretty penny.
Got to charge enough to cover the costs and make some money.
Exactly.
Isn't that the plan? Is to
That's right. So cover the
go
cost
into
and make some
business,
money.
gotta
So
cover the costs and make some money.
if you
Maybe pay
wanna-
a few people.
Yeah, if you want to reduce the cost for Joe America, you got to regulate the price.
Right.
You can't have $800 EpiPens.
Exactly.
You can't have, we talked about when I had my appendix out, the anesthesiologist was at my end, I think, was $600-700. I mean, that was like $1,500. I was out for 32 minutes probably.
Right. Yeah.
It's not worth it, and I get it. It's worth it because they got you over a barrel.
Well, they're
Because if
paying
you
for
like,
that schooling, Gary. They got to charge you. They
well,
gotta pay
that's
off
right.
that
Because in
schooling.
turn, Elizabeth Warren is responsible for your high cost. Because look what she charges to teach one class. See, you just solved the whole problem. I don't know. But to me, that's just what they do. You know what I mean? That's just what they do.
Well,
So-
listen, I already know that. I mean, we had this discussion before too, but when I had that period of time when we were uninsured, and all of a sudden, when I went to the doctors, brought the kids to the doctors for a physical, there was this magic new number that oh, you don't have insurance?
And
Oh,
that was
okay,
a
well,
lower
sure.
number.
And it was a lower number, and the same service was provided, and they weren't, it wasn't a handout situation. It was just, this is what we can do.
This is the rate. Here's
This
the
is
check.
the rate.
Right. If
that
I
we
can bilk an insurance company for everything I can get,
Right,
and
right.
people don't understand that that's what makes the cost go up. That's what makes the cost go up. When I went in for that situation, they actually sent me home. They said, "No, we don't know. Everything's fine. You'll be all right in a few days." And then the next thing you know, I got a call. They said, "No, you got to come back." We looked at the thing again, so I had to go back to the emergency room.
Yeah.
They tried to bill me twice
Oh, for that visit.
for the emergency room, $100 a whack, right?
Yeah.
So I called the insurance company, and they said, "Gee, I'm really glad, that I'm talking to you because I don't think I should have to pay this."
Because they made it look like you
Right.
went home and then you came back again.
That's
as
right.
Opposed to them calling you up and say, "Hey,
Exactly.
Get back in
So my insurance company got involved, and they fixed that problem for me, saved me the $100. The hospital wasn't doing that.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. Are there pictures
here."
being taken?
You probably still get bills for that, right? I mean, they probably still try to bill you.
Well, I pay $5 a month, so All right. Let's talk about roadblocks.
Yeah.
And let's talk about, you say because you like roadblocks.
No, I don't. Well, see, we started talking about.
And we couldn't get into it.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's the problem for me is I get what they're trying to do. I get the principle of what they're trying to do.
Well, I think I do
But,
too.
but that said, I agree with you wholeheartedly that if I'm just driving down the street and I haven't shown any signs of anything, who is anybody to just pull me over and say, "Oh, we're just checking everybody"?
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
Yes. There's some marijuana dispensary talk going on in this town.
I did not know that. That's
I do
news
believe.
to me.
I was, I'm leaving the real local stuff for Harry and Paul
So
because.
you're teasing it then.
Well, this is what you do in the business. We'll teach you. But to me, it's going to be a very interesting conversation. Much like the conversation that I've had in other towns about it. I still have the same questions. This is exactly what happened during Prohibition.
Yeah.
First of all, people had the same debates. We got, I don't know how many liquor licenses in town. There's a lot of people that I read on Facebook that want the taxes from it for the town. Especially because some people felt that it's going to go to one of the other towns anyway.
Sure.
So what's the
Right,
difference? So
right.
someone's going to make the money. Why not me?
Why not
That's
not
one
me?
of the arguments
Sure.
that's out there for it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that we have a drug problem in this town. We got a pretty serious drug problem in this town. And I don't,
That they do a fair job of hiding, I believe.
well, they've been a little bit. Who's been pretty good at responding? I've seen on some of the local groups that you're probably not allowed in.
Oh, there's local groups on Facebook? What?
I've seen some of them, and they do actually post it, and they let you know, I found a needle at this school, or I
Sure.
found something at this school, and the police have followed up to at least try to look or keep an extra eye or something like that.
Right.
But we do have a problem.
Yeah.
We absolutely have a problem, and it scares the what out of me. I mean, I have a young, son that's
14-year-old.
He's
Sports guy, though, so he should be all right for a while.
Yeah, hopefully.
With a brand new bat. Anybody comes near him with a needle, he'll just hit him with that brand
Yeah,
new
he's
bat.
here. He's over there. I can
Yeah,
barely
that's why
see
I'm
him.
bringing him up.
The
Yeah.
lights are very bright, but I know the silhouette of my own son. But I think this is going to be a very interesting debate to have because it fiscally could help the town.
Right.
It will help the town. I mean, everybody went crazy. Did you know we have a meal tax in this town now?
I did not know you
Oh,
had a
you
meal
didn't
tax.
know that? We
No.
did. We had a
Forget it.
meal
I'm not
tax.
moving back to this town. I can't move back in.
We had a meal tax added. I was gonna try to put something on to the town meeting to get rid of it about a year ago, I guess, or before it could even. It just got in 2017.
So it was
was when it
voted
became
in.
effective.
Okay, all right.
It was voted in late 2016, I guess, and it only adds. They tell you it's only a cup of coffee. You know, a year probably. I mean, how many cups of coffee do you buy a year for these programs throughout the country? You know, I'm buying about 87,000 cups of coffee
I
a
only
year.
pay $1 for my coffee because I get it at Cumberland
At
Farms.
Cumberland
sold at
Farms,
Cumberland
yes.
Farms, best coffee in the area.
What a phenomenon this has been. I mean,
I've known about it for a long
I'm
time.
going to tell you something. I don't know anybody left going to Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know who goes there anymore. I drive by these lines, and now I don't even drink coffee, and I'm laughing at them, saying, you guys are overpaying. Because I remember going for my wife. If I went for my wife and maybe my brother and sister-in-law or something like that, I mean, it could cost me, $10.
You're getting a call.
Yeah.
Probably.
Is that how we do it now?
I'm not allowed to plug Cumberland Farms.
Right. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that you got to go to Jumbo Donuts for a breakfast sandwich too. Am I allowed to say that?
You know where we're going to go with Alan Waters, though? We are going to go to the Valley Pub. And we're going to try to start meeting some locals. I think I'll check that out.
You mean take a camera on the road or?
No, we're
just
going to,
bring
well,
it-
maybe
you're
we'll
gonna
take
bring
a
'em out.
camera, yeah. But
You're
I
just
think
gonna
we're
bring
going to
'em
go
out
out,
and
we're going to go on we'll do a little crawl through some of the local establishments and stuff like that and try to get his name out there a little bit. Now he's a Democrat. I don't know.
I know.
You know.
What's going on?
It's
there?
interesting. It's very interesting. It is interesting. But as I always say, it's not the party, it's the issue. We can't be all tied up in party
it.
stuff. So maybe
get it.
this is the first time in my life I pull a Democrat ballot.
Wouldn't that be something?
I
We need a camera for that. Let's bring
You know?
that into the ballot box and watch Gary.
vote. I don't think you're supposed to take a camera in the ballot
Yeah,
box.
whatever.
But
make an exception. For
You never want to follow the rules anyway, right? But anyway, back to what we were
Fine, yeah.
talking about. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. But I'd like to see Gowdy. I want to see Gowdy. I love Gowdy because I like the message. I want to see Rand Paul. I want to see constitutionalists. I want the Constitution to be talked about in the United States.
Right.
What?
As it
That
should
can't be. That can't be a bad thing.
It can't be a bad thing.
It cannot be a bad thing. So I don't know. But Alan, I hope is gonna get some legs. But I mean, if I have to, I'll vote for Jeff. I'll vote for him. But I don't want to have to vote for him. I would like to see this guy get in there and really maybe make some hay with it. Hey, did you see? Speaking of hay, the Real Clear Politics had a new Trump poll that came out today. Approval rating.
How's he doing?
Depending on the poll, he goes from 36 to 47 to 40 to 43, 43, 20. Oh, that's Gallup, that's why.
Yeah.
13 over at the, oh, wait, hang on. There's congressional job approval, 13%. And Gallup's got him at 20 as well. Direction of the country, right direction 35, wrong track 54. So people aren't happy out there anyway. That's from Real Clear. Isn't that interesting?
That is slightly interesting.
I mean, they got anything you want here, Jim. And I'll tell you
I've
something.
never been there.
You've never been here?
I've never been
Oh, you guys should check it out. Real Clear Politics has decent polling. What I like about them is that you get the poll data from everybody. You see what I mean? So you get the Quinnipiac, you get the Rasmussen, you get the Gallup, you get to see all of it. And then they just kind of lay it out for you. So they're not really polling, they're reporting on polling.
We're down to a couple minutes again.
Yeah,
Is that where we're at?
we always get that way.
I know,
Right when we
because I
start
wanna
talking
do-
about
Yeah,
interesting
but I
things.
want to do the drug thing, Gary.
You wanna talk about it.
Hammer you back and forth on the drug thing.
Well, I mean, you got 60 seconds. You can tell me. I mean, in 30
Well, that's just
seconds,
not
you can
enough
take
time.
the.
It's just not enough
I mean,
time.
my feeling is this: I don't want all drugs legal. That's not my game.
Right, I know. It's Gary's line. It's
yeah.
Gary's line of legal and non-legal drugs.
There is Gary's line. There is. I'm entitled to have my line. You have your line. We all have a line. I just think that it's something that's it's what voters want.
Mm-hmm.
It's what they got. Someone's going to make the money.
Yeah, no, listen, I get it. And I don't have a problem with a dispensary in town, whether I lived in this town or not. And I'm not against the medical
Yes.
use of it.
Right.
I'm really not.
You're against the sitting outside and smoking.
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
We
and
have
I
to
know.
have that- we have to have that debate.
You know what we'll do? We'll have this debate over a beer. How's that? That's legal, right?
Tonight- oh, by
we
the
can
way,
do that, right?
we
We can
should-
do
we
that.
should
It's
tease
just
this.
funny.
We have talked about our pool matches before.
Yes.
And Gary had climbed this thing all the way up to 24, which I'm, right, 24?
24,
Which was
24 games ahead.
It's
Let's just-
embarrassing
yeah.
for me.
That's the
it
high.
should never be there. But I worked it slightly down to
You did.
21,
21.
and now we're gonna We're gonna
We're gonna play.
tonight.
Yes.
All right. So if I get this thing down to 16 tonight, will you talk about that on the air next week?
Yes.
Okay. Because I don't want to have to bring it up.
All right, you
Oh,
got it.
okay.
We'll do a whole spiel on it.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
Even if we don't, maybe we'll do it. I'd like to do it anyway. All right, let me make way for 3 on 11, folks. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of stuff going on. We'll try to get this guy in here as often as we can. We'll keep in touch with Alan and all the other politics and topics that you want to talk about. Remember, freedom isn't free, and it doesn't mean you get everything you want. All right, I'll see you next week on the Freedom Network.
Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land? I know